Sith Lords, and welcome to the Star Wars Artifact Show. Tonight we have a pretty big, busy show ahead of us. We're taking a break of our Jedi Survivor playthrough streams, but who knows? We might get back at it if it goes back all quiet next next week. So, Eric, how are you doing tonight?
Doing good, and you?
Yeah, pretty good, pretty good. I got to shoot a little review this afternoon. My final version one Savage Workshop lightsaber. So that was fun, and then I'll be able to move on with the brand new Savage Workshop sabers. They released well, they released new pieces for the same teams. So uh, as you know, I already have two. One that you built in February during your trip. One that Miko built during his trip 2 weeks later. And well, my cousin is going in August to build me a third team. And do I say it?
You might as well.
Might as well, huh? Well, the plane tickets are booked, my friends. So I'm going to Batu.
Finally.
Uh, yeah, finally. I was supposed to go in 2020. We all know what happened during that year. With my respiratory system, there was no chance to take. But yeah, the time has finally come, and I'll be able to roll down R2D2's trails on Batu for a few days, 8 days at the parks with a rest day right in the middle. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And so I'll be able to build the fort and the final Savage Workshop lightsaber. I'll you know me. I'll purchase a lot of stuff over there.
Purchase
So
what? You have it all. You're gonna purchase very little, whatever you
I
don't
know,
have.
but I think I'm going to hold on to the SWA lightsaber coming out tomorrow on shopdisney.com, and I might just purchase it when I'm on location.
Okay.
And there are probably going to be one or two more lightsaber that come up by then. I wouldn't be surprised if we got the Kanan Jarrus lightsaber. And who knows, they might make even a limited edition box set. So if I hold on to for buying the Ezra, I might end up with the cool bundle. So
You're gonna have a lot of stuff to bring back. A lot of baggages.
yeah, but I'll do the same thing as you did and have
Ship it.
everything shipped back home. Yeah, and travel as light as I can because traveling light for me is traveling heavy for most people. I need to
Yeah.
carry another wheelchair for the shower. Uh, yeah, so I don't have any special needs like in terms of machinery or stuff like that, but I don't have a respirator or stuff like that. But I need to bring some medication and you know some special gear. But I cannot. Backpack traveling is not for me.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So
You'll have plenty of stuff in it. Again, like there's a limit to like. So let's say it's $150. So like let's say it's 80, 90, 100, whatever. Like the shipping charges. There's a limit. So like at one point, whether you ship $600 or $5,000 worth of stuff, it ends there. So like
okay,
when you get close to that threshold, just you know pack it in at that point. So you can go to your hotel like shop, and that's what I did. And then when I asked how it worked, she's like, "Oh, it goes up to this amount." And I had already passed a certain threshold. I'm just like, whatever. I just gave her everything. I'm like, just ship it at this point.
Okay, so
And it was pretty
they
well
took care
packed.
of it at the hotel.
Yep.
Okay.
So all hotels, well, the resorts since you're staying on, they're all gonna
Mm-hmm.
have they have their Disney shop, right? And when you're in there,
Yeah.
there's like there's a shipping center. Well, shipping center. One of the cashiers, one of they'll do it for you. So apparently they
Okay.
all do it, or you can go directly to the store, or while you're on the site, you know, you go to like the guest services, they'll ship it. So there's really no lack of it, but the best thing, what I would recommend, is wait until you're about a day or two before leaving, compile all the stuff that you've collected, and then ship it all at
And
once,
then I'll
right?
ship it. Okay.
Yeah, I had a really big box, and there was like a just like one cup that was broken, but you know, I was kind of playing with fire anyway, like getting a mug shipped, a
Mm-hmm.
porcelain mug, but they replaced it,
Yeah.
and they're really good with their stuff like that. So, but yeah, no, that's what I would definitely do, and I'm glad you're finally going, and you'll be surrounded by good people. So,
Yeah.
should be
We'll
good.
make announcements about that maybe later on. Maybe closer to the date I leave. So
Yeah, yeah. So just a reminder, because we don't really do it enough, but you know, I know that we've been less annoying, I guess, with it with the like and subscribe, but don't forget we're still. I think when we started, we are high. What was it, 800, 900 when we first started
yeah,
the
I
show?
think it was in the 800,
Yeah,
850 maybe.
and then now we're at close to like we're at 1200. We're getting closer to 1300.
1225. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's going well, but I mean, share, like, subscribe, hit the notification button. Don't forget. And today's show, it's gonna be a little bit different. We're not gaming like you said. Just gonna try to go over some of the news, some of the stuff, some discussion points if anyone wants to chime in.
Mm-hmm.
And the first one is it's obviously some bad news that we got. But
Yeah.
first, let's not forget. Actually, let's before we go into more gloomy stuff. Today is the day, right, Dom?
Yeah. 40 years ago today, Return of the Jedi was released in theaters. Uh, I'll go and say it. It's my favorite.
Of the original
And the
trilogy, or
original,
the
yeah,
whole
yeah.
saga?
Uh,
At this point, you would say the
the whole
saga if
saga.
that's your favorite. Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah, the
Hmm.
whole saga. Yeah,
Hmm.
because I don't know. It's not the first one I saw. I think I saw it in order 4, 5, 6. But I don't know if it's the Endor battle or their final duel with between Vader and Luke. But yeah, there was something to it, and it's resonated more to me than the first two. But if I'm really honest, 4, 5, and 6 is a 6-hour movie for me.
Yeah,
It's the whole thing. You know, I cannot watch 4
just yeah.
without watching 5 and 6 like in the days following or even the same days.
It's a trilogy. It's a story arc, right? It's
Yeah.
you gotta put it all together. And I think for me, it always be like I have such an attachment for some reason to the AT-ATs. So like that whole Hoth scene
Mm-hmm.
will always be iconic for me. Like
Yeah.
the first battle, like the revelation that, like, you know, it's, you know, of Vader being his dad, all this kind of stuff. I thought that
Mm-hmm.
that to me was a little bit more, but I think Return of the Jedi and A New Hope, it's they're just, you know what, it's I can't even really pick because they're so special in their own ways,
They all
right?
have
Like,
their moments.
yeah.
Yeah.
So A New Hope is just, it's the original. It's just it's weird to say the nostalgia because I mean they're all came out around the same period of time, but like, I don't know, the introduction of the characters, Obi-Wan, which is, you know, grown to be such a fan favorite now, and um, you know, especially when you get like all the backstory, how they made it, the creation, and all this stuff. You know,
Yeah.
as far as our interviews with Thomas Bean and all this kind of stuff that gets put together and little stories you find out,
Mm-hmm.
it's just, I don't know, it's
Phil Tippett doing his magic with the motion.
yeah, it's just, anyway, it's everything's so good about it, and you know, so the whole trilogy, the original trilogy for me is obviously my favorite of the
Yeah.
three trilogies, but and if it wasn't for the Last Jedi, I think I'd be a lot more of a fan of the sequels as well. But you know, the prequels grew on me after watching the Clone Wars and adding all
Mm-hmm.
that context, and the more and more
Yeah.
stuff that keeps coming out to add more context to that whole
Mm-hmm.
period is fun. So And then you have those, that little block of time that's in between, leading up to New Hope now with Andor and Rogue One and all that stuff. Just there's so much good content that
Yeah.
it's hard to pick just one, but I think the original trilogy is my favorite, and it's each movie is special in their own way. But I know there's just something visually about Empire Strikes Back. It like just remember seeing it, playing those scenes in a video game or whatever. It's just so much fun. So
Maybe it's because I don't like the cold. I don't know. I prefer the greens.
you don't like the sand? It gets everywhere.
Yeah.
Um,
But
s-
I mean, there's a reason why for our short movie, I chose the era like right after the Battle of Endor, and transitioning to the
it's because you
sequels
wanted me to be
because
in it, or else I couldn't have been in it as a scout trooper. I get it. It's okay.
yeah, true, but I like that time period. So
That's why you
yeah,
decorated your backyard like that.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah, surrounded by Endor.
I'm gonna have some Jute sequoias transported to my backyard.
You need a giant ATST.
Yeah, that would be cool.
So like we alluded to, we lost one of the a member of the Star Wars family.
Hmm.
Before we can ever really get to see him, we
Enjoy
will
what he
see
did.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we will see him. We got a little, I guess, little not previews, but we got little parts of him already in
Hmm.
other roles. But yeah, he was lining up to have a very good role in Ahsoka and who knows what else, right? So it's unfortunate, but the passing of Ray Stevenson this week came as a shock. I mean, I've heard stuff. I'm not going to mention anything of what I've heard in terms of like rumors and stuff like that because it's
Hmm.
nothing drastic that I heard, but we don't know. There's nothing official. There hasn't been an official statement, but it was just sudden. We knew that he was, I think, working on a movie at the time. It's in Egypt or I forget
Also,
where.
yeah.
Yeah, and so anyway, apparently he was rushed to the hospital, and so it's unfortunate, but it's weird because like when I heard the name and I saw him, I'm like, his face, it's like I don't know if it's his brow or something like that. It's always looked so familiar, so we
Hmm.
thought we'd put together a few clips, I mean pictures of and iconic roles that he's played, and you might not even remember
Right.
him being in. And this one I think is the most popular one, the most memorable, and
Yeah.
probably brought this character to life. Not that was it Dolph Lundgren, the original, but this is really the one that I think a lot of people preferred in terms of versions. I don't even really remember this movie to be honest with you, but
I think I watched it again like 3 or 4 years ago, but yeah, it's a little blurry in my mind too. I remember the scene when he drops on the dinner table where all the mafia folks are having dinner, but that's about all I remember. And that scene was epic, shooting everyone one after the other, and the
classic
henchmen,
Frank
and
Castle Punisher you
yeah,
would expect, right? Yeah.
yeah. Before, well, somebody played Frank Castle before in the movie with John Travolta. I don't remember his name.
I don't remember who it
Uh,
was. I know who you're talking about, but I can't remember who it was. So he was the one that was after Dolph Lundgren. So
yeah, so
yeah,
that was the third Frank Castle,
yeah.
and we got John Berthal who did it in the
Yeah, the
Defender
Marvel. Yeah,
Universe
yeah.
Netflix. Yeah.
So I'm not sure if they made him officially part of. I mean, I know it was all part of the same kind of story, but whether or not they're moving on with it,
Yeah.
because I know that like Jessica Jones and all this stuff, wasn't sure if it was really going to be part of the story, but we know Daredevil's been brought in there. But I mean,
Hmm.
we're completely digressing. We'll leave that to the Marvel experts.
Yeah. Mm.
So other roles, was it Volstagg? Is that how we would say this? He was
Yeah,
so
I would say that.
less, I guess, maybe not as easy to recognize, but a huge role. He was in, I think, all the Thor movies, right?
I
Like,
think it was. Yeah.
yeah, offering some comedy relief with his little gang and clique that he had there. So,
Hmm.
so he would play in that. Another one is something you were remember more than I didn't watch the series, but
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's the first time I saw Ray Stevenson act. It was in that series. So uh, even afterwards, I was still calling him Titus Pullo, instead of Ray Stevenson when I saw him. So yeah, he left a strong impression on me. Rome was cut short because the set burned,
Oh,
and they had to stop after season two, and they kind of rushed the ending of season two because all the set had been destroyed. So uh, that's why the series ended. But it was slated to be like a 4 or 5 seasons series, and that was cut short.
this not the show where
But
the main actor died, did it? There was one of those
no, that was Spartacus.
Spartacus. That's what it was. Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry. Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
So yeah, I'll always remember him for that role. That's for sure. There's always a movie that corresponds to, or a series that corresponds to some actors, in our minds. And to me, it's Titus Pullo.
and this, funny enough, because I was going through his IMDb trying to, and it's incredible if if you have a chance, go look up Ray Stevenson on IMDb. Just the number of roles he's
Right.
had is just insane. And like I'm trying to pick like series where he's had over at least 10 episodes, or because there's so many. He's just 2 episodes here, but he's been involved in so many little parts here and there. It's just that's why his face looks so familiar. He's got a little bit of a Gerard Butler look to him too sometimes, like
True. Yeah.
So, but the movie I really liked was The Book of Eli, and he played Redridge. He was the right hand man to now his name is can't remember his name.
Not Denzel Washington.
No, he was the right hand
It
man.
was opposite to
Yeah, the guy who played Dracula, and he played. That
Dracula.
yeah. He also played. He was, in Batman.
Which Batman?
The more recent trilogy with Christian Bale.
Okay.
He was the cop.
So,
Now I can't even remember the name of the cop. Man, I'm like completely.
okay. Yeah.
Gary
Was it the
Oldman.
professional. Gary Oldman. Yeah.
There you go. I came up with his name before I came. So yeah, Gary Oldman, who plays in the Book of Eli, and I'm gonna spoil it if you haven't seen it, but you've seen it, right?
Yeah, I did.
It didn't click the first 5 times I watched that movie that he was blind.
Oh, okay.
It didn't click. I don't know why it just did not click that he was blind himself. I knew he could read it, but it didn't click for some reason. And then like I rewatched him, like, man, yeah, like I almost disputed it. But yeah. So anyway, he played a good role in that too. And then anyone who was a fan of Dexter, it's old, so I don't really remember his part. I remember seeing him. I remember him being in it, but like as far as like, I'm trying to remember. Was he the guy that was kind of like a little psychotic and wanted to kill people too, or something, or like?
I cannot help you on that.
Yeah.
I've never watched an episode
No.
of Dexter.
Oh.
Yeah, I know I need to do it, but yeah, never found the time to.
But as far as a good series, I mean that was one of them. So he played in that. Played Isaac Serco, in Dexter,
Okay.
and then on to this. I'll let Dom describe what we're
Yeah, so
looking at.
that's the first time Ray was brought in the Star Wars universe. He was cast as Gar Saxon. Uh, so on the left, that's the older version of Gar Saxon, in which we saw him in the Rebels. He had a role. He especially remembered for his duel against Sabine Wren to take possession of the dark saber. And on the right, yeah, it's a younger version of Gar Saxon. When he was in the people call them the Maul DeLoreans, because he was working with Darth Maul. So he was the one with the helmet with the cool horns on his helmet and the yellow visor. So yeah, he had a huge role in those animation series. He butted head with Bo-Katan. So yeah, uh, that's how he was brought in the Star Wars universe. But as you said when we began talking about Ray, He was slated to play Balin Skull. Uh, he's not a Sith, from what we know. Uh, yes, he has a red lightsaber, but it leans toward the orange color as well. So he's going to be a dark force user, but not necessarily a Sith.
Well, it's like a
So
Jedi that just basically strayed away from the Jedi path or something like
yeah,
that. And
mm-hmm.
the way I think he himself had kind of described it is like he's not out there looking for blood and like killing people, being vicious, right? He's just, I think, I'm paraphrasing, but something along the lines of like he's got a path and just don't get in his way type thing, right? Like so.
Yeah,
Um, but it's going to be unfortunate. I mean, I'm not sure how far they got in the filming and the production of it, but I would assume if he was filming
yeah,
something else, they were probably done with his role. Then it's just a matter of finding out where were they going with the Ahsoka series. Was it going to be multi-series? Obviously, like maybe he was going to be in the movie, in the Mandoverse movie or something along
mm-hmm.
those lines.
Perhaps. Yeah.
So,
I don't know if he
it's
was supposed to die at the end of season one of Ahsoka as well, because he has like an apprentice, dark
yeah.
side apprentice. So perhaps she will survive and he will die.
Yeah.
Who knows? Uh, I guess we'll find out like
Hey, I mean, you never
in a
know. I
few
mean,
months now.
even if he was meant to be there with, we can bring people back to life these days, right, and have him in
Mm-hmm.
there. So, if they get like, I guess, approval from the family. But just to name some other roles, like I was mentioning before, I played in Vikings, Black Sails, the Divergent movies, or movie. I'm not sure if it was in all of them. The Transporter, one of those movies,
Which
and
one?
Refueled, or what was the I think I forget which one it was. It wasn't the
Okay,
first
so it's
one.
one of the later ones. Okay.
Yeah. And GI
And
Joe.
G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Firefly.
There's no way
I
I would
had completely forgotten
have.
that he
That's the
was
second one though. It's the
Firefly.
one with the
Yeah, the
Rock,
one
right?
with the
Yeah.
rock. Yeah.
I watched that one I think once. Even the first one I didn't really. It was all right, but uh, not a classic in my mind.
Well, I was mad watching the second one as soon as they killed like Duke. I was like, what?
They
They
went
killed Duke?
back, or again, we're diverting a bit, but digressing. But I mean, they went back because they tested it and they thought it was way too quick, and they added scenes with him. So you
Oh
were
yeah.
disappointed that he was supposed to die a lot quicker, he was supposed to be gone a lot faster than that. So yeah,
Yeah, and he was supposed to die in the animated movie back in the 80s, and they didn't kill him.
yeah. Well, they'll kill Optimus
Yeah.
Prime though, no problem.
Well, that's why they didn't kill him. They didn't kill Duke in the movie, because the reaction of people, seeing Optimus Prime died, uh, they were like, "Oh, we cannot kill Duke in the G.I. Joe movie." So they added the scene where he's in his hospital bed and he says, "Yo, Joe." So that was
I don't
added like
remember.
almost before that movie was released. So yeah.
Um. So yeah, I mean, our thoughts are with the families and Ray
Mm-hmm.
Stevenson and anyone in the Star Wars universe. Unfortunate, but at least we'll get. It's kind of weird to anticipate. To see him, but at least we will get to see his performance. Right? It's not lost. It's not like.
Yeah.
So
And well, thank you, Ray, for the good memories you gave us.
yeah, like
We
everything I
will
mentioned, all
always
those
enjoy
series,
ourselves.
those roles is just like a lot of
Yeah.
them iconic, and
I
he'll be
have the
missed.
Rome box set, on my shelf. So if I ever miss him,
I haven't
the
seen
box
it,
set is
so
not far away. Oh well, I can loan it to you if you want.
I
Yeah.
don't even know if I have a Blu-ray player. So I'm sure there's one
Well, you
streaming
have a
service that
PlayStation.
has it. Oh yeah, yeah I do. Oh yeah, with a disc too. Yeah,
There you
all
are.
set. Yeah.
I'll say.
So on a little bit of a lighter note though,
Yeah.
new
Last
Legacy
Friday.
lightsaber.
Yeah. The ShopDisney.com released Yoda's Legacy lightsaber. You know me. I had to get it. So,
Shocked.
especially it was Master Yoda. I mean, tomorrow they're releasing Ezra, and I think I'm gonna wait until I'm on location to buy it. First, because I need some money to if I don't want to push the airplane, I gotta get in the airplane. So I need some money to afford the trip. So I'm in the savings mode right now. So I won't be buying the Ezra right away. But yeah, the Yoda, it comes in a bundle. Uh, I made a review of the Obi-Wan Kenobi series bundle a few months ago before Christmas,
And you'll obviously be
and
making
I
a
was
review of this one.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, for sure. I'm shooting next week, so in 2 weeks you're gonna have the review. Um, so from what I've heard so far, they really nailed it because the main critique of the legacy lightsabers is that the hilts are chunky, and that is because of the blade type they have designed. You got to be able to insert it, and they're pretty chunky, and people were a little bit disappointed with the way Darth Sidious's lightsaber was rendered because of that, and they took their time and they made a special blade. That's why it comes in the special bundle, and the hilt is a lot smaller than what it would have been at the end of the regular type of blades.
yeah,
So
there was
so
some
far so good.
compromising as well, right? That they needed to do, and
Yeah,
that's what
and
it
they,
is
they
there.
obviously we cannot insert like a regular battery pack in that lightsaber, so they used a rechargeable battery, which I think is a great idea and a good choice. It allowed them to make the diameter a little bit smaller for the hilt. So we see where the USB-C cable can be plugged,
You know
and
what? I'm gonna go out there and say that they should probably just do this for all of them, because I mean, how many people really leave it open? And having the batteries in there, like, I mean, you risk the battery leak, like I've had in one of my
yeah,
lightsabers. Not the but like, you want to take them out, have it in there, have the charge get lost, and that's it, right? Like, how many times do you
hmm
really light it up and go bounce around? And if you're going to go to a celebration, you go to like a cosplay or whatever,
yeah.
just have your thing charged and have it ready. But like, I can understand, like, and even then I can't imagine you using one of these lightsabers, a legacy. I mean, possibly, I guess, for Comic-Con if you're cosplaying, but like, I don't know. I think that this is probably the way to go when it comes to these
hmm
moving forward, and maybe they're going to learn from it and say, you know what, we'll do that. And
And they are not dueling lightsabers. I mean, I
no,
wouldn't
of course not.
even
Yeah,
risk dueling with
no.
the other saber.
I've seen it. I've seen people doing it on the resort. They buy them and they start
Yeah.
smacking them around, but like, they're not made for that. You're gonna damage them for sure, right? So
Well, the regular blade is easily replaceable, but that one you need to buy the whole bundle.
yeah.
So
Well, even the regular
it
blade,
costs
like, it's your cost. You're talking about whatever the cost is. I mean,
it's 50 for a 26-inch blade and 45 for a 26-inch
but it's
blade.
still lodged into the hilt, right? So like, if you're impacting and damaging it, and it's
Yeah.
flexing on the inside, they're not made for battling, right? So they're made
Oh
for a
no.
showpiece and everything like that. So I think that this is what they should maybe line up. There's probably some technical reason why they can't, but maybe they'll learn from this and say, oh, this is the way to go. They don't have to worry about battery packs and all this stuff. And
And because of my condition, obviously I never duel with my lightsaber,
yeah,
and I don't have kids. And one of my 26-inch blade died on me like around Christmas. That's why I had you buy another 26-inch blade when you went to Disney. So uh, you know, I leave them in the little bucket, the popcorn bucket from Star Wars. Then I got a movie theater, and they're all there, and one managed to die on me. So
yeah. Until
it's
you get that holder, that $500 Death Star holder. Super nice.
yeah, it looked awesome, but I mean, with the value of the Canadian dollar,
Yeah,
there's no
and
way
now
I'm
he
purchasing that
modified it
now.
too. You put like a kind of a neon or a light in the middle that makes it
Yeah,
even more expensive. It's nice, but again, pricey. If only I could find his 3D file, which obviously he'll never share. But
nope.
yeah, it looks
It
nice.
comes
It's
with a
smaller, but
yeah, it comes with its little display stand, which I don't like at all. I think the Hasbro stand looks way better. It looks a bit like your background over there, like the Death Star wall.
mhm.
Uh, but that one is just plain plastic, and that's why I always ask my buddy Ryan to make me some custom stands because this one is gonna stay in the box. I'll open it just for the review. I'll assemble it. I'll never even glue the little felt tissue that there's included to avoid some scratches at the bottom of the stand. But yeah, it's going to be assembled once. Then I'm going to deassemble it, put it back in the box, and stow it away. And I've already ordered some special acrylic colors to have it built. So yeah,
Nice.
it's gonna look pretty neat. So can't wait to have it in my hands. It should arrive on Sunday, so that's pretty cool. You'll get to see it because Eric is coming to my place on Sunday.
Yep. And we'll be showing. Well, I can show something that I got now. This is something I'm going to bring for you to add to your view. But this little holders for the kyber crystals, you can see here. Box is a lot bigger than what I thought. When you were talking about over packaging. It's definitely over packaging for such a small piece. But this part lights up as well. But you need the holder, which my holder right now is
at my place.
Your place right now. Very excited to go pick it up this Sunday. But yeah, it's the picture is there. It's not. I guess it's kind of clear. So you get the holder and you put these on, and then you can have up to 6.
Yeah. So the stand has like 7 slots to place some holders in the front, and there's like 2 more slots on each side. So you can have 11 slots or 11 kyber crystals displayed. But there is 7 colors. So I guess that you can put like all the crystals in front or 2 on each side, and
that might be the extent of my spending
yeah.
in the event that I go to Florida as well. Yeah. So without any further ado, let's set this up with what we've seen so far and where we've seen this before, and I'll let Dom give a little bit of context to where we've seen it.
Yeah. So at the beginning of Rise of Skywalker, Kylo Ren travels to Mustafar in search of a Sith Wayfinder, and he defeats some. What are the people living on Mustafar? Mustafarians? I don't know. So he defeats them, and he gets to this like huge stone or concrete base with the Sith Eternal logo on it, and he opens it up, and he gets a Wayfinder, and he uses that to travel to Exegol, where he discovers that Palpatine. What was the quote? Oh, somehow Palpatine survives. So, yeah, that's.
It kind of came out of nowhere too, right? Like the way the second movie ends and the way this. So, like, you get the impression that there's maybe it's in the books or something, but like there should be a lot more context as what happens from the Last Jedi to all of a sudden he's over there trying to on a mission to find the Emperor out of nowhere, right? So.
Yeah, well, the real reason was that there was too many directors. On the movies.
Yeah,
but they're gonna try to justify that, with some books and comic books. And even in the movie, Palpatine says like all the voices you've heard and everything, it was me, and we see like
and all of a sudden
Snoke's clones
was not even real, but
and I thought that the clone that we were seeing in the Mandalorians was to prepare us for an eventual explanation. But
I thought the same thing. I thought that's what he was trying to get Grogu for. It wasn't for his whole self-serving army of clones or whatever. I thought he was trying to set up like the return of Palpatine. But I guess in the end, it just goes to show that anyone who's at the Empire is very greedy and self-absorbed. But all that it was to line up with what we see here, which I'm trying to get the right direction.
So Disney released on May the 4th. If you look at the box, it looks alike. And it's in plastic. It's not in foam as you thought it was.
Yeah, I really thought it was like a styrofoam box, but
and
nice
it has the
plastic.
little concrete texture imitation as well.
Yeah. No, it looks
So pretty
really
well made.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they took
Still
the time.
sealed.
They presenting us a cool product, and there's a black and a white one. So
Yes.
it's a blind box, so you don't know which one you'll get. And Eric decided to keep his sealed
It's been
and
difficult last couple of
open
days.
it live on the show. So
See
I'll
which
let
one
you
I
do your
get.
magic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
as you can
I'm
see on my table, I have the black one already. So yeah, it's a little black on black. I'm sorry for that. I should have worn a brighter T-shirt. But yeah, I got the black one, and who knows what Eric will get. So yeah, put yourself on the big screen so
all right. Well, you want to do a
people
big
will get
screen?
to see it.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let me just point this down here. See my lap over here. So still sealed. It's been very difficult the last couple of days. So I think I'm gonna go.
If
With
you want to keep the instructions, just be careful with
yeah,
the
taking
way
out
when you
the
unwrap
sticker.
the tapes. Yeah, because you might rip the.
I'm gonna take the sticker off on the side here, like so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm a sucker for this kind of stuff. Keeping the boxes, I've started I've started to detach myself from boxes a little bit more. Even though I know I don't keep them, I still don't rip them open. My son opened up the set of the 501st Legion Lego set this week, and he just ripped the box open. Even though I knew we were gonna recycle it, I'm just like, why'd you have to rip it apart, man? And just like, so the way I'm gonna do this is I'm gonna keep this, fold it over, but I mean the instructions I'll read later.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. I'll let you know on the fly.
So that's
It's pretty
that.
basic. It comes with batteries already, so
Wait, what's the dot?
if you look,
Oh, I gotta take
you
the
need
tape off?
to remove the tape off.
Okay,
Yeah.
so here's the tape.
Well, there's a rumor saying that there's a red dot below the tape if you have the dark Wayfinder. So we'll see if the rumor is true or not.
There's no dot under this. So the dot's got to be under the other, the other
The other
package.
tape, yeah.
This one that's gone. No dot. The dot should be somewhere under
it
here.
should be on the cover.
On the cover?
Yeah. So maybe under the other.
Well, there is a dot there.
Uh-oh.
What did you say the dot was supposed to be?
Is it red or white?
What's what? You said if it's red, it's.
If it's red, it's supposed to be dark. But I don't know if the rumor is true.
Well, it might be Mythbusters right about here.
Yeah. Because my box had a red dot.
Well,
So if your box has a red dot and it's white, then we'll know that it was crap.
so let's see. So I will reveal what dot I have. It's gonna be at the top corner right here,
Oh yeah.
and that is clearly a white dot.
A white dot.
So
So put it in front of the camera. Yeah. Let's make a reveal. Yeah.
before, let's go right back here and show. Just keep this in mind before there's upside down.
Yeah. And you'll see that the packaging, yeah, it's pretty much the same. So you watch this first, We see a red corner, a white corner, yeah.
Got the
so
white.
you got the white one.
It's good for you. You're gonna get to put them
Yeah,
side
it's
by
good for
side.
me for the review. Yeah, we'll be able to take some pictures.
But
But
you know what? I'm the, because the painting and stuff that I do, I'm almost happy with it because
You'll be able to customize it yourself.
I'm gonna weather the heck out of this thing.
Yeah.
You can't really see it, but there's a lot of texture here, and all you got to do for like myself is I'm gonna take a dry brush and just running along the sides here, it's gonna get into all the creases.
That's it.
It's
Yeah.
gonna have a much grayer look to it. But I'm
And
actually
the
pretty.
texture will pop up even more.
I'm actually kind of happy. I like the way it looks. I'm just happy that I finally opened this bad boy. And then
So
there's
if
this
you look
extra.
inside, there's a little wire.
Yeah, I just took it out here, and that. And
All
there's.
right.
This is a cool box though. Like, geez,
Yeah, the
like
box
to
is
put
actually
stuff in it.
cool.
I'm not sure what the tape on the inside is for, but
I genuinely thought about finding a place to expose the box as well.
I'm gonna put it on my shelf back there somewhere for sure.
But it lasted like 5 seconds. I was like, oh, no, I got no space.
I got space. I'll find somewhere for it. I just don't even know how to close this back up again. How the heck did that? There you go. All right. So now the test is to see if it works. And how does this? How does this get plugged in?
Yeah, so you plugged like the USB first. Yeah. You don't need that.
The USB.
I went through. There's only one hole on the side where you can plug that. So
This?
it says, yeah.
There's no USB on this. There's nothing. Oh, here. You mean here?
That's it. Yeah. I said USB, but it's like a USB. So you do that, and
So the speaker holes are right here.
Yeah, and below your Wayfinder, you have like an on and off switch. So put it on because. Okay, now that it's on the opposite side of the connector, you place this. There you go. And it holds with a magnet. So it lights up as soon as you put the magnet on.
There you go.
And if you have a kyber crystal at hand.
So this is something I read is not super easy, depending on, I think, so some people have a hard time making it react, and it's like you got to put it low, you got to put it, but took it right away. Wow.
Yeah.
That's loud.
Yeah, it's loud. And listen carefully to the voice. Let me know if you think it reminds you of something.
Wow.
Dathomir is a legendary world in the Outer Rim's Quelly sector, known as a haunt of witches and strange beasts. Its eerie landscapes lie beneath skies colored blood red by a dim, bloated sun. Dathomir is rich in life and shines like a beacon in the Force. Rankers prowl its tangled forests, while its mountains hide secret lakes where ancient leviathan fish dwell in darkness. The Night Sisters are a clan of powerful Force witches who live in Dathmir's swamps. They rule over the Night Brothers, Zabrak warriors whose villages are found in the planet's harsh badlands. Darth Maul fell into battle with Obi-Wan Kenobi on Naboo and was thought dead, but survived and went into exile. He eventually returned to Dathomir, where Night Sister magic mended his shattered body and mind. Dathomir is a legendary
Now it's
world
going to
in the
start
Outer
again.
Rim's
So
Quelly sector.
there's 4
It's a
quotes
haunt of witches and strange
total.
beasts. Its eerie landscapes lie.
So,
There's 4 quotes in total per crystal.
Okay.
Each one of them corresponds to a planet or a location. And it fits with the character of the crystal. So you must have had the Dartnell crystal.
Yeah, I'm assuming that's what
That's
it was.
why we were speaking of Dathomir
Huh.
and Night Sisters.
But the voice, though, I mean, it sounds like a weird Palpatine. I know it's not him. At least I hope it's not him.
No, it's not a Star Wars voice. But as soon as I heard it for the first time, it reminded me of the voice that was speaking at the end of some Transformers episodes in the 80s. You must say that the Dinobots were created in response to... And also the voice that was saying the Transformers will return after these messages.
Did you look it up?
Sounds the same. I didn't look it up yet, But yeah, it sounds like him.
I'm pretty happy. I mean, I like the black, but I think that this you can't do anything with the black in terms of like modifying it.
No,
This is not something that I'm gonna sell anyway. But I like the contrast of the black and on the white and everything.
if you
It's
turn it
pretty
on
loud though.
and you leave it like idle,
Yeah.
you'll hear Darth Vader's breathing.
Really? Okay. Well, let's
Yeah.
leave it on.
So leave it on, and after a while, we'll get the surprise
I
while we
like the
talk.
I like the blue look like this too. It looks
Yeah, mine lights up green, and the white one lights up blue. So pretty cool. So it adds some value to the kyber crystals because we could use them already in the Cyber's Workshop lightsaber, and we can use them also in the Sith and Jedi holocrons. But now we have this, and
so.
we have some quotes in the Jedi and Sith holocrons, but that's totally different. So it's pretty cool. And I shot the video early at the end of last week, and I have all 17 different kyber crystals. So I played all 68 quotes for the review.
Wow.
So
Jeez. That's good. Hey,
you're in
you gotta put that on there, right? Put that in your
oh
description.
yeah, it's
so-
coming pretty soon. Yeah, I'll do the Yoda saber and then I'll do the Sith Wayfinder. So
Nice.
yeah,
So
you're in for a
that's
treat with
when's
all
that
those
coming out?
crystals.
Your review for
So the Yoda lightsaber will come out on June 2nd,
next
and
week.
the Wayfinder, yeah, and will come on June 9th.
Okay. Then also we got
No, I
like we
think
mentioned.
I made a mistake. June 2nd was going to be an interview we do with
Yeah. But
with
you also
Joanna.
have the holder that
So
the lightsaber holder, and you're gonna have this as well
yeah,
coming up. We got tons of stuff. On top of many surprises that we have lined up, guests that we've been, we went from having our first guest to now we have about 5 guests lined up.
that's pretty cool. Yeah,
Yeah, so it's picking up some momentum, and it's definitely fun for us to just sit back and enjoy these conversations with people that are part of the Star Wars family. So
yeah. Family
um,
members for forever now.
so as you can see, that's what it was. It was upside down in there.
hmm
And let's move on now to. That's not Vader.
Okay, no, I made a mistake. Mine as Darth Vader's breathing. That was Palpatine's laugh.
So I am not gonna leave this on because if I wake up to that sound, I will probably freak right
Nightmares.
the heck out. So yeah, that kind of freaked me out just right next to me like that. So yeah, that was special.
Yeah.
So moving on, we have another thing we wanted to talk about. Actually, 2 more things. And the first one is Jedi Survivor. I know we're doing the playthrough. We'll probably continue doing it to see the story, but I've finished it on my personal game, and Dom,
And
you said
I've
you
watched like a full playthrough as well.
Yeah.
So
So we
I
know
know
what
the
the
story
story is. So just of our, I guess a spoiler-free impression. I'll let Dom give the story, and I can talk more about the playability. So
yeah, so I assume everybody knows how the game starts.
you could talk up
Should
to
I?
where we got to, right? I guess is
Yeah. So Cal is being brought to a senator on Coruscant at the beginning of the game. We fly by the Jedi Temple, who is now property of Emperor Palpatine's. He converted it into his little palace, and it's a trick that Cal plays on the senator, and his friends are literally the ones who bring it to him, and they manage to catch that evil senator, and they end up on a planet called Kobo, which turns out to be the main hub of Cal's missions throughout the game. and from there he's gonna go to different planets. I'm not gonna reveal which one because
Yeah, you
I think
might
it's cool to discover them
slip
as
up
you play
too,
through the
right?
game.
But I find that, like, the story until we got to meet geez, what's his name again? The that Jedi and like the backstory of
Dagon.
Dagon. So I thought so far, I think, the story for me, I thought was excellent, was fun to watch, and even like as we watched the playthrough, and I know James has been enjoying following the story as well, right? Like not everyone
Mm-hmm.
plays the game, but they get to watch the story as it develops. So far, what we've played in the playthrough is interesting, but I find it even picks up even more steam and more surprises and twists and turns. For the like, I thought at one point, like, you fight him and you think, okay, but he ends up surviving that fight and leaves. But you face him again and all this stuff naturally, right? You're gonna eventually face
Mm-hmm.
him again, but it feels like right when you think that this story is wrapping up, there's always another twist and it keeps on going. So I thought this game was pretty long. I thought it's limited in terms of the planets that you go to, which makes sense, but the planets are so vast.
Mm-hmm.
The maps, and the key thing is something that they corrected is the fast travel. I'm starting to use that a lot more because I finished the story and then I'm just like going back and I want to try to get the planets all at
Yeah,
100% and finding all these boxes and all this stuff that's made
it
a little
helps a
bit
lot.
easier. But you can see where the cases are, where the echoes are, all this stuff on the map, and you can fast travel. And then there's this bounty hunter thing, which we haven't really explored. Um,
In our playthrough, yeah.
yeah, so you can go to one of the characters and she'll give you a bounty, and then you can go and find all these different bounty hunters and then defeat them. So again, like, if it
So
was
she's
following
the
an
same
order,
species as Kid Fisto, but she looks a bit like Cad Bane, with the hat.
and she talks like an adult, whatchamacallit, the girl from Bad Batch, the little girl. Jeez, I'm drawing a blank.
An Australian,
Yeah, the Australian girl.
like
Kind of
Omega.
sounds like, yeah, like Omega. But overall, it's really cool because like now that's what I'm doing. I'm going back and forth and getting another bounty, going back, getting another bounty, and I'm doing my best not to um, look at any of the walkthroughs or hints to um, open any of the puzzles and whatnot. So
Mm-hmm.
it's for me, it's just there's more to do even when you finish the story. But the story itself, the game was fairly long,
Yeah.
and the story was enjoyable. But we'll have a full review, I guess, coming up. Maybe we'll put some clips in there, do something a little bit better. Maybe right after our playthrough, because I think that if I just concentrate on the story, the problem is if I just concentrate on the story, I realized that those stims that I was getting by playing myself and going through all the little corners and
Side
searching,
quests.
yeah, well, not even really
They
the
came
side
out pretty
quests, but
handy,
like
right?
I really dig in every little corner and try to open every box, so it helps me find the stims. But like it helped me finish the game because having
So, with
having
how
10
many stems did
stims,
you finish the game? 10?
I'm at 10, I think, right now. I think I had
Okay.
9 when I finished it, but it really helps. Yeah, so it's
Yeah, especially fighting Ravis and other bosses that I don't want to reveal.
yeah, it really helps. I mean, like, you get used to their patterns and stuff like that, but
Mm-hmm.
the other thing is, like, if it gets too complicated, um we put it on story mode, and then basically you can't get killed, or it's very difficult to get killed.
Okay.
So basically you don't lose energy, you just kind of play through and bash people, but you
Right.
can't
Okay.
get and especially, like, it's funny because there's those purple kind of like echoes that you find, and then you have these battles, which it's not a spoiler, it's just something that you find along the game.
Mm-hmm.
At one point I went back to one of the first things on Coruscant, to one of the things that hadn't opened,
Okay.
and I went in that. So basically what they'll do is they'll send you waves of stormtroopers or whatever, and then you defeat them, and then at the end you get like you get those skill points.
Mm-hmm.
The one I went back to, there was 2 Rancors. Well,
Holy crap.
it was, and the Rancors, like, I don't think we saw them in our playthrough because I don't think
No.
I went there. Um, it has nothing to do with the story. It's just, if you divert and go one of the caves, you'll find one. But basically, if he grabs you, you're dead. There's nothing to stop it. Um,
Okay.
if he grabs you, it's a little kind of like cutscene, and he eats you, and that's it. So as soon as he reaches out and he grabs you, you know you're done. You have to start over, and it's really frustrating. But I found a way to beat them. But I'll never do it again because it was too long. But that's
Too
basically
long and too
it.
hard, yeah.
So early impressions. It was definitely fun. The playability was fun. They fixed a lot of stuff from the first one. In terms of like just that was tedious to walk back and tread back the path you had come to, or if you had to go back again. If I wanted to do these bounties and I had to walk through the whole map, I honestly would have put the remote down. I wouldn't have played anymore because it's just too much. But they fixed all that with the fast travel of the meditation circles and stuff like that. But
because the map was big in Fallen Order, but now it's really big,
and it was a lot more linear, a little bit than this one. But they're definitely on the right path. I mean, I hope they'll make another one.
Yeah, I'm all for it as well.
So with that
except for buying another lightsaber.
There's a couple of comments that came in the meantime.
Yeah, Percy, man, I know you wanted to get a little sneak peek on who was going to be our guest, but I think it's safer to not reveal them right now because there's always that option of the person, being canceling.
Well, we can. There's I think one or two that are part of the 501st families that have hold some good positions in the 501st Legion families that can talk to us about that aspect of it and talk to us more about that. But
our next guest, I mean, I guess we can reveal him because we're going to record the interview next Friday. It's going to be Joe Mena, a sculptor who has some contracts with Gentle Giant. He sculpted some of the half-scale busts I have behind me. Most importantly, the two Boba Fett's and the Mandalorian, the one with the Beskar armor. And he also sculpted the upcoming Jango Fett half-scale bust that's going to be released at some point. I think it's a little bit before Christmas. But I might be getting ahead of myself saying that. So, yeah, he's really talented. He obviously liked what we did with Rocco Tortamella. And, he began following us on the Instagram page. And I got in touch with him because, I recognize his name reviewing some of his busts. And I said, hey, if you want to join us for a little chat, you'd be more than welcome. And he said yes. And yeah, we're going to have the opportunity to talk with him next Friday. So if everything goes smoothly, I'll post the interview right away after we finish.
It was supposed to be this week, but there was something came up. But there's also, like I said, 501st like high-ranking members, and we might have one of our first Star Wars actors on, but that's I'm leaving it at that. And more artists, and anyway, there's just so much going on. I just had.
We're going to the Montreal Comic-Con in July. We're going to meet Star Wars actors. Obviously, it's a little bit far-fetched, but I'll try to be gentle, to be sweet and interesting.
Put a little makeup on.
Hey, you would be, that's
a little networking and stuff like that. But I mean, so far there's nothing. I mean, obviously there's Giancarlo Esposito,
Paul Song-Hoon Lee,
and
Emily Swallow's gonna be there.
But I mean, we haven't spoken to any of those people. I mean, but we are in continuous discussions with artists, a couple of actors, and people who have worked closely with the film and stuff, like the original films and stuff. So there's a lot coming, but we just can't say anything because, well, number one, nothing's 100% confirmed. It's just they're open to doing it. There's just no date, so who knows? People get busy, but we'll definitely give a sneak peek once is a little bit more solid. But a lot of exciting conversations to come. But on that, let's move on. It's funny, you said you weren't even sure if we're going to be able to fill this time, but here we go. Let's move on to this. And this was special. This was like homework that we kind of gave each other to try to fill this hour, and coincidentally, we were able to fill it without even talking about it. I should have left it probably, but let's give this a little bit of love. So it's the Star Wars Young Jedi Adventures, and it was May the 4th, I think it launched, right? On Disney Junior. I think there's a new episode every Friday, and the episodes are all available on Disney Plus. So it's a cool kind of story. I mean, it's clearly for children.
For sure.
It's I would say it's a mashup
I think
between.
you nailed it yesterday when you told me it's like a Star Wars version of Paw Patrol.
Paw Patrol meets Star Wars. That's basically what it is. I mean, they're not rescuing. Well, I don't know. It's weird. So the way that it's described, and I copied the Wikipedia. It's set during the High Republic era, not canon, right, Dom? It's not canon
not canon. Yeah.
So centuries before the events of the main Star Wars films, and Star Wars Young Jedi Adventure follows a group of younglings as they learn the ways of the Force, including compassion, self-discipline, teamwork, and patience, to become Jedi Knights. All values that are good for children. Obviously, you give 1 or 2 watches to these episodes, and you see exactly what they're doing. There's a lesson in there. It's in morals and all that. And it's
just like when we were watching G.I. Joe, and at the end there was like the
knowing is half the battle.
Now you know, and knowing is half the battle. Yeah. That's it.
So you have Kai Brightstar, who is described as a young Jedi youngling who hopes to follow in the footsteps of Jedi Master Yoda and become a Jedi Knight. We have Nash Durango, a pilot who is friends with Kai and the other younglings and teams up with them to go on an adventure. So they meet up in the first episode, and that's their droid RJ-83. Obviously, got to have a droid and everything. Who else we have? Liz Soleil or Solai, I don't know how to say it. Pantoran Jedi youngling who is Kai's best friend. Nubs, which
little friend Nubs. I love that guy. He's gonna be the fan favorite for sure.
He is for sure. My kids watched this. So I put it on during supper, just have something different on TV, and both of them right away they're like, "Oh, I like the little blue bear." Like they already want a toy of him and stuff. So he doesn't even talk, right? He kind of just makes little sounds and stuff.
Yeah.
So definitely he's.
If you watch it with subtitles, it says "speaking in Pubian."
Oh, nice. So he's. Puba Jedi youngling who is Kai's other best friend. Best friends. We have Jedi Master Yoda, who's in part of the series, and the villain is Tabor Valdorn. He was described as a pirate. The other thing that's kind of weird, and I guess it's again, so this series is picture it as your storytelling, your morals, your lessons and stuff like that, a la kind of like Paw Patrol with the Star Wars theme. The only thing that kind of I guess raises questions is that Tabor fights Kai and stuff like that. They have battles, but to what end? What are they what if he doesn't block that shot? He's gonna kill the kid, because they identify them as their children, and he goes, "Oh, you're a kid." Because so when you see Nash, just you're a pilot, but you're a kid. But I'm like, what are you talking about? You're a kid. That kid's trying to kill the other kid. That's the thing that I think is kind of weird. When they're fighting each other, I'm like, what are they trying to accomplish here? Is he really trying to smoke the other kid? To kill him?
I don't think he is. No.
But what's he gonna do?
I think he's trying to reason with him, But Tabor is he doesn't have a lightsaber. He has a pike.
I know, but he's not there to tickle him. It's just weird. It's just. When they battle, I don't know, I'm kind of weirded out a bit. I'm like, what are they fighting over? So there's stuff fighting over ships.
I don't think kids are gonna think about that kind of stuff. We're grown ups.
Nah, it's me. It's nitpicking and stuff. Yeah. But it's just weird.
He's the kid that the kid should want to turn into. He's selfish. He's trying to steal. He's always up to no good.
Yeah.
So he's the bad kid from school.
Where are their parents? They go off. So they're another one. Again, it's me nitpicking. They're in this asteroid field and stuff like that. Very dangerous, you know. And they're like flying through that. Like, their parents know that they're out there flying through asteroid fields. It's like they're kids. Like, so it's just kind of
they're younglings, so the parents have given up on them.
not. Yeah, I guess. Well,
Well, in
not
some way.
Nash, right? Well, so Nash we see, and this is where you know, whatever your take is on this stuff, and you know, if you want to talk about wokeness or whatever it is, I mean, it doesn't, it is what it is. But so Nash is actually, I think it's the first time we see she has two moms. So it's again expanding to the diversity into the Star Wars and trying to, like, you know, normalize this stuff, and this stuff we see more often. So I think it was the first time we see something like, she says hi mom, but like she clearly has a female partner, so it's different, interesting to introduce that. And you know, there's definitely diversity in the group itself, right? So you look at, it's very colorful, I guess, in every different way, the different cultures and all that stuff like that. But like it's definitely moving on, and you know, bringing more acceptance and diversity to the whole universes. Before we just had,
tolerance and
yeah, we had Lando who was black, and then everyone else was basically white, right? So like it's
and you know, we had the Finn.
yeah, but
Was
it's
back.
later stuff, right? So
there
it's
was
like,
Rose as well.
yeah. So obviously that's the world we're living in now, and like it's definitely it's inclusivity, and it brings something that everyone can relate to when you're watching this, right? So I don't watch enough cartoons to say when there was a strong black lead as a kid, like, you know, Paw Patrol. I mean, we're talking about a bunch of dogs, and then the little boy is white, right, and stuff like this. But I mean,
Yeah.
I'm all for it. And
From the cartoons I saw when I was a kid, I mean, G.I. Joe, we had Roadblock,
yeah,
we had Lightfoot, who was Asian,
was the
and that
native
was
guy.
about, oh yeah, Spirit.
Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
just about
So
it. But we're in
I
a different
think
world now.
for the
It's like,
era,
yeah.
it was good for the era, for the 80s. I mean, Transformers. I mean, all robots except from Spike and what was his name, Sparkplug. Um, and then we watched the Turtles again. No humans. What did we have?
And a cartoon, I mean, back then it was just different, right? Like, it's just like,
Yeah, the X-Men.
yeah.
Most of them were white.
But it's the
maybe
world we
except
live in
for
now. It's
Jubilee.
like they changed the actors. I mean, even like I went to see Guardians of the Galaxy, and they changed that. Even the dog is Cosmo is a female dog now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they changed the sex of the dog to female. It was James Gunn said it was I guess a tribute to Cosmo, was based off of a Russian female dog. So
Yeah, like
you know, I forget what it is, but like there's, so even like in the movie she's got like a Russian accent, so it's a tribute to that, yeah, to that dog. So obviously it triggers a lot of people back, you know, like I'm you know, I like when stuff stays the same, like the comic. If it's based off the comic, then you should base it off the comic. But in the end, what can you do, right? Like it's like it's really, that's, we want to try to have as much acceptance as possible, and inclusivity, and so there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. So but all that to say that this is definitely a children, this is not going to be like your Clone Wars or Rebels that like,
oh no, for sure.
gonna, you know, slowly creep into like a more mature series. This is really targeted for kids, and as Disney does, I don't know how many
And they
times,
never hid behind it. I mean, they said right from the get-go that it was a show meant for preschoolers, and I think it fits pretty well for that age category.
they do this in Disney from what I've seen. Like, so now they're gonna have their card game to kind of fight off, you know, the Pokemons of this world, you know, whether it be their board games, or they have like a racer game that Disney to go against up the Mario Karts, and now that this series that kind of go against the Paw Patrols of this world and all the other stuff. Again, I don't really follow as much because my kids don't really watch these series anymore, but like they always have, you know, they want their piece of the pie of everything that's hot right now, right? So
And what a cool and fun way to introduce your younglings to Star Wars.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fun. They get to see lightsabers in action. I remember as a kid, I was all about lightsabers. So
As a
yeah,
kid,
it was.
Tony,
Yeah,
it's an adult. You're
I
all
don't know.
about lightsabers.
As a kid, I was all about lightsabers. You know, we're watching Luke
Yeah.
ignite the lightsaber in Obi-Wan's hut. I mean, I was like, whoa, what's that?
Yeah.
I want one. And yeah, uh, it got me even more in love with the Star Wars universe. As much as I was impressed with the way the stormtrooper looked and Darth Vader. I mean,
Look at that
you
thing.
know,
Look
I
at it
think
behind me.
yeah. I
How
mean,
cool is that guy? Whoop, wrong way.
the other side, yeah. I remember them barging in the 10TV4, and I was like, whoa, I want that helmet. Now I have 6 reprints of that helmet.
Yeah,
Thank you, Hasbro.
I have the pleasure
Not
of
for sending them for free, but for reprinting them.
I have the pleasure of actually putting that on and going to see the kids. Now I'm the one that they can, whether it be in the hospital visits or even the Comic Cons and stuff like that. So, and the reason I think I've mentioned it before, the reason why I have the Scout is I like the character in the Mandalorian, but I also the mobility. For anyone that doesn't know, is if you put on that stormtrooper that's behind me, it's a tough job, but worth it. So on that note, what do we have coming out tomorrow?
Tomorrow I have my Death Trooper helmet review coming up.
It's already been teased, I think,
right
on the
above
channel.
my shoulder. Yeah, I released a little teaser on many social media platforms. So yeah, that's going to be a pretty fun review to watch. It's from Cybercraft, a Russian-based company. I already reviewed one of their helmets in the past, which was the Coruscant Guard Clone Trooper, and I was pretty satisfied with the product. I know some people don't always like what they do, but if you want to buy one, the Death Trooper is one of their best creations. And I wanted to buy that helmet for a long while. I mean, almost 2 years. And the thing is, the helmet is like $375 US, and then you have to convert it into Canadian dollars, so it's about $450.
Yeah.
And then you
Or
have to
more,
pay for the shipping, and it's DHL, and there is gonna empty your wallet with the import fees as well. So it's almost a 650 helmet. So I would have never been able to buy it. How did I know my friend Mike, who purchased a bundle of helmet from a third party, and he had to purchase the bundle to acquire one specific helmet he wanted. So I think he bought 2 or 3 helmets just to get the Revan mask. That's what he wanted. So then he had to turn around, and when I saw him, on social media saying that he was selling that helmet, I was like, "How much do you want for it?" And once he gave me his price, I was like, "Okay,
done.
That's enough, or I can't refuse."
Well, that's good. So you got that, and then, like we said, we have the June 2nd. It's not for sure, I guess, if it's going to be the review or.
Well, it's not going to be Yoda because I think I miscalculated my. Okay, so it's going to be June 9th for the Yoda, and the week after is going to be the Wayfinder.
Then we have the interviews coming up, and so there's plenty of content coming out. So
if everything goes as we have foreseen, as Emperor would say, next Friday is going to be Joe Mendel's interview, but it's not going to come out at our usual time of 1 p.m. It's going to come out later in the evening, so you'll be able to watch it during the weekend. Yeah, so it should be fun. Joe looks like a really nice guy, so
yep.
can't wait to chat with him. And yeah, so we have a pretty cool upcoming weeks and videos on the YouTube channel. So yeah, I think it's a perfect time to say that if you don't want to miss those stuff, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and smash the like button. So you'll be able to, it's gonna for the like button is really helpful because it tells the YouTube algorithm that I'm doing a good job. So it goes a long way into recommendations. So
On that
if
note,
you can, yeah, just hit the subscribe button and it's free. So that's even better.
all
Nothing's
right.
free anymore. So I guess we called it a night.
Yep. Been
So
good.
I hope you guys enjoy yourselves. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comment section. I check it out almost on a daily basis. So it's going to be a pleasure for me to answer them. And until then, may the Force be with you.
Remember, the Force will be with you, always.